Hey guys, super excited today. We're going to review the 2020 WideWheel, or the WideWheel Pro, however you want to call it. Awesome design, 2 brakes, and a little bit larger battery. It has a display, stronger build quality, overall an amazing improvement to the original WideWheel. So bear with me for a sec. I'm going to take you to a nice spot to review. First, I'm going to review this as an absolutely new scooter. Talk about who's it for, what's awesome about it, what maybe is not so good about it, and then in the end we talk about which specific upgrades came in here for the versus the 2019 WideWheel. So first of all, who's it for? Look, if you've ridden rental scooters, or you maybe have a Xiaomi at home and you're just not satisfied with the acceleration and the power, I think this is an overall great upgrade package to, you know, the rental scooter. It goes faster, it has much more acceleration, it will get you up any hill, and it comes out at a, I mean, for the package, relatively reasonable price point of around $1,300. So you'll get a massive upgrade versus the rental scooters. Due to its power and due to the fun you can have on it, and also due to the long range, we market this as the perfect all-round scooter for commute and play. And I guess if you try it out, you'll know what I'm talking about. So let's talk a little bit about this scooter. It has a top speed of 26 miles per hour, and actually on the GPS I've clocked in up to 28. Not so sure if it just jumps around between the houses, but we're going to show you later when we take you on a ride with a GPS tracker about how fast it really goes. But 26 you should definitely be able to reach. In terms of range, we market it at 22 plus miles. It has a 15 ampere hour battery, which is larger than the predecessor. But let me give you a little, perspective on the range. So the old model we had actually tested up to 16.5 miles on our range test, and that one was performed, me as a rider, 175 pounds roundabout, going full speed on a pretty windy day. So 16.5 miles on this. This one has a 14% larger battery, and also the controllers are a little more efficient. So in the same use environment that I just sketched, I think you should get easily 20 miles out of it. Now, if you're riding this a little more chill, and if you just cruise around, you put in eco mode and you go like 15 to 20 miles per hour only, I think you can get this up close to 30 miles. So overall a great package with 20 miles range if you ride it hard, and 30 miles range if you go chill and you ride in eco mode. Now, as you can see, it has 2 motors, one rear, one in front, and it is 500 watts each base output and 800 watt peak power. So you kind of get a 1500 watt machine here, and the individual motors, front and rear, actually make this one of the perfect scooters for hills. We had one rider test this on Lombard Street in San Francisco. That's one of the steepest roads in the world, and he just ripped it up. So that was the older version. The new version has the kind of same power than the old one. So this is the perfect scooter for hills, and has pretty insane acceleration and power. In terms of operation, it comes with a smart display, and obviously you can turn your scooter on here. You can select eco and power mode very conveniently and intuitively. It shows your current speed, it shows total mileage, it shows battery bars and battery voltage. And we personally like scooters that show battery voltage, because over time you learn how battery charge relates to the voltage that displays, and you get a much better understanding of battery health and how much capacity is left in your battery. You can turn on cruise control very conveniently on the display with the press of a button, and once it's enabled, you can just hold a certain speed, let go of the throttle, and the WideWheel will automatically maintain that speed until you touch the throttle again or you press the brakes. Overall, pretty intuitive operation of the WideWheel. In terms of lighting, as we're talking about the display, with the press of a button you can turn the bright headlight and the bright rear light on. And in comparison to the old version, the headlight is much stronger, so it actually will light up the road ahead of you. What we do recommend though, if you have extended night rides, for some better lighting, to probably get an attachment and light the road up even better. So headlights have been set up overall to be safe for night riding, which is really great. And also, as we're talking safety, the WideWheel Pro comes with 2 disc brakes, one in rear, one in front, and it makes for superior stopping power. And I think for a scooter of that speed, that's overall a pretty good idea. Now, this is a pretty powerful scooter. It has a large battery, 15 ampere hours. It has 2 motors, so unfortunately that doesn't come at a super lightweight. So it clocks in at 54 pounds, which is not necessarily light enough to just carry it around with you wherever you go, everywhere in the city, or you don't want to take it up 5 flights of stairs. But it folds down nicely, and I'm going to demonstrate. And once it's folded down, I think you can easily put it on a train. You can carry it up 1 flight of stairs maybe, and I'll quickly demonstrate that. So in order to fold, you just open up the dial up front. Very simply, you turn it a few turns, and you push it inwards to release the folding mechanism, and then you can just move it down right like this, and then you turn it back to close it up, and like that it's folded. Now you can also fold in the handlebars right here by just removing the cuff, moving them downwards on the other side as well, and like that you can see that it's actually relatively nice, and you can carry it in one hand, and in terms of footprint, if you were to store it away, it actually folds down quite nicely. So you can take it on a train, you can store it away at home, and yeah, overall very versatile scooter, especially because it locks down while it's folded down, so you can carry it in one hand. Let's fold this back up, right like this, and tighten the folding knob firmly so there's no stem wobble. And then in order to fold these up, just go like this, make sure the cuffs are secured, and like that, it's a nice and stable ride to take it on. Let's also talk a little bit about the ride quality of this machine. So you see that it has dual suspension in spring-based in the rear and in the front, and it engages relatively nicely. You can see it here. That suspension mitigates a little bit the harsher effect that the 2 solid tires have. So the 2 tires are extra wide, which makes it like a very comfortable riding feeling. They're foam filled. That means you'll also never have a flat, which people who've ridden a Xiaomi, know that's a little bit of a nightmare. So it doesn't happen here. The tires are actually very, very long lasting. And what you do notice though is, because they're not air filled, that you do feel the cracks in the road. And there's really no better suspension for riding in rough terrain than actually air-filled tires. This one doesn't have it, but I'm actually pretty convinced that the spring-based suspension does a pretty good job in compensating for that. One thing I would like to mention about the wider tires is, while they feel nice and comfortable when you're going straight, you will notice that you have a little bit larger turning radius than on thinner tire scooters. So we'll demonstrate that, and you'll see that actually taking this around the curves requires a little bit more lean, and the turning radius will be a bit wider than you're used to, and this is just normal because you see how the wide tires are actually keeping the scooter more centered into the middle, and you cannot really lean it all the way on that side. As we're talking about ride quality, I would also like to point out that due to the insane power of this model, the throttle can feel a little bit jerky. So you engage it, and it starts only transferring power as of roughly 30 to 50% of being engaged, and then power comes on relatively instantaneous. So if you're not really used to electric scooters, it will feel a little, strong initially, but I guarantee you, once you're getting used to it, you can actually start it up in walking speed. What we recommend is, when you get the scooter, is you try it out in eco mode, you kind of familiarize yourself with the throttle and the operation, and only once you've mastered that, you put it into power mode and you really start having some fun. So overall, we believe this is an amazing scooter. It's beautifully designed. We haven't really talked about that yet, but I guess the design speaks for itself. Mercane has done an excellent job in making it nice and clean look up here. The wide tires just give it this awesome, cool motorcycle style look, and overall the lines really, really nice. So we're very happy about it. It's very powerful, as I said, gets you up any hill. It's a ton of fun to ride, and ultimately it's made for these who, you know, get a little bored on those regular scooters and really want an exhilarating riding experience. If that's you, then the WideWheel definitely is for you. So for everyone who wants to know what exactly changed versus the 2019 WideWheel, we're quickly going to summarize all the improvements and changes. So number one, it comes with a display, much more intuitive to work the controls. It shows speed, mileage and everything. You can set eco and power mode much easier than in the past. It comes actually without speed limit, so you will take it out of the box and you'll be able to ride 25, 26, 27 miles an hour right there without fiddling around and removing the speed limit. That's a nice improvement. Then Mercane reverted back to the original 2018 throttle, because now we don't need the voltage display anymore. It's been integrated in here, and they got rid of the key lock. And for everybody who's missing it, we're working on potentially getting you one for the future. But at this point in time, I have to say, even if you lock your scooter with a key lock, somebody could still walk away with it. So in any case, you don't really get around in locking up your scooter with a proper bike lock. If you want to do that, we'd recommend you either get the bike lock that's on our side or something similar, and you can lock it right through here to a pole, a lantern or something like that, so you know nobody will be able to walk away with it. Additional improvement comes with 2 brakes. This I think is great, safety first. It's always good to have that, and it reduces stopping power. Mercane put a larger battery, 15 ampere hours versus 13.2 ampere hours on the old model. So that's 14% in additional range. And we've heard that they tweaked a little bit the efficiency of the controllers, and that makes this one go a little bit faster than the old one. You feel a tiny punch more power, barely noticeable except for the top speed. And due to the efficiency of the controllers, you should have an additional push in range. So that's why, you know, the old one was listed at 20 miles an hour. This is listed at 22, but you know, there's always a big range. So as I said, 20 miles range in full power ride and 30 miles range if you go chill in eco mode. And then the last improvement is around the materials. Mercane has improved the material right here on the neck. It has reinforced the fork as well, and I mean, for the practiced eye, you can see that the stem is a little bit larger, which makes this overall a more stable experience. In the past, we had some rare complaints that after extensive riding on the old WideWheel, the front here was getting a little bit wobbly, and we had to fix it with like adding a few washers and kind of tightening it up. And what Mercane has told us is that this has been addressed with the wider connectors right here, and it should overall be more stable in the long run than the old model. So in general, amazing improvements. And as I said, we love the WideWheel 2019. It was the best seller on our site, and you know, you see the 300-400 reviews, and the WideWheel Pro is kind of a similar scooter, but just key improvements on some elements. So we highly recommend this for everyone who, you know, would like a thrilling riding experience at a still relatively decent price tag. So come to our site and check it out. And remember to always keep it fluid.